Welcome to our Kansas City Energy Franchise Committee meeting here of September 12th. And I am here, and Carol is here, and Doug is here. No Kirk. Emily's here, and no Kathy. We have Ryan. And we have John. Nick. And we have Pat.
Patty.
Pat.
Thank you.
I didn't get your last name.
Olenek, let me spell that for you.
Sure.
O-H.
O-L-E,
O-L.
Olenek, O-L-E-N-I-C-K.
Ah,
Just like it sounds.
Yeah.
right. I was trying to make you Swedish.
It's Slovakian.
Oh, yeah, well, but not Swedish.
And we don't have anybody online, is that right?
Looks like we have. Francis Concilia online. That's an attendee.
Thank you. Okay, so one of the things that we were talking about is maybe getting the National Resource Energy Lab speaker, and you had said that you were willing to do that, but I didn't reply to that or anything. Have you done?
Not yet. I thought
Okay.
it might be worth just talking for a couple of minutes here about the kinds of thing. I was thinking in terms of just someone who would speak to the city about community scale renewables and how, what are communities doing, how does it fit in, but I wanted to kind of see if anyone had any. And then I'd be happy to pursue that. If it makes someone release.
Yeah.
Whether it would be someone from NREL or somewhere else that we can speak to. So this, I know we don't have everyone here, but if there are specific thoughts any of you have about what we want a speaker to address, that would be.
I did go online and look at what they do there. I actually know a person that is working up there in that office, in the Denver office, but the community scale type investigations, maybe is the way to say it, is just really a small part of what they do. They really do a whole bunch of a lot of different things. And but they certainly might have somebody that could talk to us, and that would and
Information.
it can be a Zoom meeting or
Yeah.
something like that. So Emily, if you want to take that on, that'd be really nice.
Should I aim for a particular meeting to see if they might be available or just see?
I just just during a meeting. That would probably be the only requirement we have. We don't really have anything. I don't think that we've got anything that would be conflicting coming up. So whenever suits our schedule and that we can would be fair to see.
Yeah, sounds good.
Great. Any news from the city, Ryan, on any energy matters or anything? Are we just still kind of plunking along?
I believe city council will be having an executive session at the next city council meeting to discuss some energy issues.
Okay. An possible executive session at the next city council, which would that be Monday?
That would be a week from today, yes.
Okay,
And I think we're looking at a 5 p.m. executive session.
yeah, so that'd be Monday, the 19th, 5 p.m.
Big schedule. Yeah.
And we will be inviting the energy committee to that.
Okay, so let's see. So Kirk is not here. Will Cindy send out those invitations? Or-
Yes, we can send out. We'll send a reminder there.
That would be really great because a meeting invite or
Yeah.
something like that. So that we make sure that we get everybody that can be there to be there. That would be great. And I guess, John, you've got some. I don't want to say guess. I mean, because you're welcome.
Thank you.
So we've got several members of our team, I guess is the best way to say it. Are you ready for for this? Okay, so great. You've already met Nick and Kelly in the past. You just met Patty. Patty's our renewable, or excuse me. Our demand side management program manager, or efficiency coordinator, I guess is her better title. Patty runs relationships responsible for the demand side management program, the implementation, and the programs that are found in it. I just want to make the comment that I think this is one of the places that we have the most opportunity to work with the city. And, I want to just acknowledge that we've got the two state leaders here, which I like to refer to as the two-headed beast since it started here first. But this is the opportunity. I mean, from my perspective, this is the opportunity to really, engage with Lacros Energy and see what we can do. But I think the point for us today is Patty's going to share with us all the new demand side management program that was recently approved, and then answer any questions that you have. So I'll hand it off to Patty.
Great. Thank you, John.
Who wants control?
Sure. So just click it, it'll go
Should be the other side.
this side.
Yep.
There we go. So here's our agenda. John has done our introduction. As you mentioned, my name is Patty Olenek. I've been with Black Hills the end of this month. It will be 4 years. And so we're going to talk about the current DSM, demand side management plan, that is through the year 2022, 2024. And then also we'll touch on our new filing. We have a beneficial electrification plan that we have to file in July. So we'll hit on that too. And I just want to say that this is it's an open discussion. We have a lot to cover. We have over 20 programs. So don't wait till the end. You might forget. Just, as it comes to your mind, please bring it up so we can address that. At Black Hills, we are very safety focused. We start all of our meetings with a safety share. So today it's about winter safety tips. I know when you're outside today, it doesn't feel so much like winter, but it does get upon us rather quickly. We already did have snow a couple weeks ago on Pikes Peak. That's any indication of our weather to come. So these are like a top 10. Hopefully you can see around the diagram there. But number one, use special care when getting in and out of vehicles. Try to park your vehicle in a clear area and watch where you step as you get in or out. Number two, avoid carrying items that reduce your ability to see the ground in front of you. Whether it's one big item or 5 small ones, ask for help or take multiple trips so that you are never obstructing your sight. Number 3, scan the path 6 or more feet ahead of you for trip hazards. Make sure your route ahead is clear of hazards such as rocks, clumps of snow, or a stray branch. It's great ankle busters when you trip on those. Walk slowly and take small steps. Walking slowly and taking small steps will help you maintain your balance. Number 5, wear footwear that has slip-resistant soles. As the name indicates, slip-resistant soles lessen your chance of slipping on ice, snow, or water. In our office, we frequently wear ice cleats that you could just strap onto your shoes. They are fantastic. Keep them in your car whenever you think you might need them. So that's some advice from us, real world advice that we use cleats. Number 6, plan ahead and give yourself sufficient time to get to where you need to go. Whether walking or driving, leave your current location 5 to 10 minutes early in case roads and sidewalks may be covered with snow and ice. Now, this is a good one here. Number 7, if you happen to slip, try to avoid using your arms to break your fall. I don't know how you're supposed to do that.
Stop,
You're
drop,
gonna
and
break
roll,
your back. You'll break your back. Number 8, watch out for black ice when walking. Try tapping your foot on potentially slick areas to see if they're safe to walk on. If not, find another route to take. Number 9, use your vehicle for support when entering and exiting. If you're parked in a potentially slick area, be sure to hold on to your car when entering and exiting so you can maintain your balance. And number 10, when entering a building, be sure to wipe your feet. Removing as much snow and water as possible from your shoes will decrease your chance of slipping when walking around inside, especially in commercial buildings where the floors are usually a slick marble or tile. So that's your safety share for today. Any comments or questions on
1
that?
through 5 is pretty much any time when you're home, you know, it's like
That's true.
steps and, you know, looking out in front of you, yeah. So thank you for all those. Those are very, very
You're
good. Make us think.
Well, especially the using your vehicle. We've had I wouldn't say a rash of incidents, but we've had a few incidents this year that were surprising to us. Where people are getting in and out of vehicles and had either a strain or a slip or a fall. And so, you know, kind of when you're on a ladder, you maintain 3 points of contact. When you're getting in and out of your vehicle, maintain 3 points of contact, not just even in the winter, but
All
in
times.
all times.
I'll say you can also walk like a penguin, they say too.
Yeah.
So it does help.
It does.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. So we'll move forward in the presentation. So demand side management, what exactly is demand side management? So it's a strategy used by the electric utilities to control demand by encouraging customers to modify their level and pattern of electricity usage. And this was came out in the energy crisis in the 70s. And we're really asking customers to become more efficient, thereby they save energy. And then those energy savings result in both lower costs to the environment, emissions, and then also in your pocketbook. In Colorado, our electric demand side management goals are really to develop programs for all customers. And as you'll see as we go through this presentation, we basically have 3 categories of customers: residential, commercial and industrial, and then we have special programs. And we do have energy efficiency programs for all of our customers. We want to minimize our customer bill impact. So the more that we can get them to enroll in programs and participate, lower their energy uses, it's going to have an impact on their bill. And another goal is to focus on our income qualified customers.
So, excuse me.
Yep.
Can you see this becoming not just a Black Hills program, but a government telling us, like in other foreign countries, where we can set our thermostat, and if you don't, you can go to jail, stuff like that? You see that down the road?
Not that extreme, but there is demand response opportunities now where you can basically give the control of your thermostat to your utility, and they will turn it on, up, down, as needed, depending on what's happening with the grid. So if they need to control the energy that's being used, they'll turn your thermostat down, depending on the season, up or down, like I said. But some people love it, some people hate it, because you have no control, but there's an incentive. The utility does give you an incentive for doing that. But as far as jail and things like that, I think that's a bit extreme. Might happen, I don't know. I don't see it in our future.
As of now, stranger things have happened.
So here, to continue, here's our list of programs in our portfolio. As I mentioned, it's broken into 3 categories: residential, commercial, industrial, and then special programs. So I'm going to go through each one of these and give you some details on who can participate and what the incentives are. Okay, instead of reading through the list, we'll just go right down the line. So the first one is residential retail lighting, and this is where you go into a big box store. Basically, the list of our participating stores is on the right. So we are in Dollar Tree, Dollar General, Lowe's, Sam's, Home Depot, and Walmart, and it's an instant rebate for customers to get LEDs. This was required, or the program wasn't required, but the Colorado legislature has established standards for lighting. So no more incandescent or fluorescent bulbs could basically be sold. So we started this in our last portfolio. So that was back in 2019. And it provides customers an incentive to purchase those bulbs to get up to standard, because they're not going to be able to buy the old bulbs anymore. And it does include all Energy Star light bulbs and even some specialty bulbs, such as like maybe a candelabra, some globe bulbs, basically anything that's LED. So when you pay at the register, that rebate's already taken off.
You know what would be nice if they give your rebate on fixtures as well,
Mm-hmm.
because we've got some old fixtures in the garage you can't buy a bulb for, so the fixtures are obsolete as well. Just, I'm saying for myself.
No, that's a good point. And, you know, we were talking about this the other day that, we give out light bulbs at a lot of the events. And we've been doing it for years. And the past few events, people are like, I got enough light bulbs. You know, because they last forever, right?
Yeah.
And once you fill up the house, I mean, you know.
Yeah.
Fixtures might be a different way to approach it.
Yeah, and I think the key there is sometimes when we say you get your rebate, an instant rebate, you're looking for a little form, whatever it's already baked into the price of the bulb. So what you're paying is reduced than from what you would have been paying for that.
You
bulb.
work it through the retailer.
Yeah, yeah.
So, excuse me, do you guys still, I know a few years ago, you went into Walmart. There's all kinds of discounts for LED globes. Light bulb. Light bulbs. And like a Walmart, are you guys still doing that? And I just haven't paid attention because
Correct.
I haven't needed them.
Correct.
Okay,
And the signage, this was in, I believe, Home Depot, it'll have Black Hills identified as, you know, the utility is providing a rebate on the bulbs. Okay. And this will phase out, at the end of this portfolio, this DSM plan. As we mentioned, you know, most of the light bulbs at this point are switched to LED, so maybe we'll do fixtures. Any other comments, questions on this?
Might be good to, I don't know what the education would need to be, but just. Whenever that point comes when it's phased out, I would think that the utilities and stores and who knows who else. Will need to kind of communicate with the public that. The reason these bulbs are now going way up in price is because whatever. I don't know, it's just a thought. Because we're all very used to them being cheaper than they were initially.
Mhm. You raise a good point, and I'm glad you brought that up. As we go through this, if you think of ways that we can promote these programs, maybe an audience that we should target, we'd be really appreciative. There's no silver bullet for us to get the information out about programs. We're on radio, we do social media, we're on numerous platforms, and we do, you know, paper on occasion. We're kind of phasing that out. But, you know, it's this multi-pronged approach. So if there are organizations or any way that you could think that we can promote these, would be thankful for that information, for your thoughts.
Well, you could say realtors even. If
Mhm.
somebody's going to sell a house, the realtor might suggest that that would be an upgrade or something that they might do to, you know, help with the sale of
Absolutely.
the house. So, yeah.
And you'll, as we go through this, you'll see some more that are good for realtors.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
So the next program is our residential prescriptive program, and this is to encourage house improvements, specifically HVAC, your heating, ventilation, and air conditioning systems. It includes heat pumps, central air conditioners, swamp coolers, heat pumps, insulation, even Energy Star appliances, such as the list here with clothes washers, ceiling fans, air conditioners. And here again, you know, we want to help our customers reduce their energy consumption, which will lower their bill. Rebates are awarded per measure, and a measure is, you know, an item such as a heat pump, that's considered a measure. Even a light bulb is considered a measure. Okay, so just thinking about looking at smart thermostats, there's a rebate of $65. A central air conditioner, it can go from $250 to $650, depending on the efficiency rating of that central air system. And prescriptive, meaning these are all, there's like no wiggle room. It is what it is, it's listed. And so we have specs, the energy efficiency we know of these pieces of equipment. So that's how we rebuild them. Okay.
so what about mini splits, ductless?
They're included.
They're included. Okay.
And with the residential prescriptive program, a lot of customers have need information when they're trying to fill out the forms, okay? So our trade allies is a group of contractors that provide us with proof of insurance. We know they're a legitimate contractor. They are well aware of how to fill out the forms, what qualifies, what doesn't. And on our website, we have find a trade ally. Or find a contractor, excuse me, find a contractor. You can go in, type in your zip code, and it lists all the contractors that are approved by us. And we continue to build that list. And so that's really the go between us and the customer to help get these rebates in the system approved is through the trade allies.
So is it possible that when the contractor installs a system, is it possible for them to collect the rebate and not pass it on to the customer?
It is.
Sorry.
Patty, do you know what either specifically or generally, what it takes to be considered an Energy Star appliance?
It's managed through the EPA, Environmental Protection Agency, so it's a federal designation. They have set criteria of what makes it an Energy Star. So they'll do a ranking if it's an appliance. There's the on the side of an appliance when you buy it, it's got the yellow tag and it tells you the energy consumption. The EPA comes up with that ranking, yeah. So depending on what it is, that's how they determine, yeah, Energy Star. Does that answer your question? Kind of.
Yeah, I was hoping for specifics, but
Yeah, I don't have specifics yet. So the next program is our appliance recycling program, and this is where we encourage our customers to recycle old inefficient refrigerators, freezers, and window air conditioners. We will haul it away from them for free, and they receive a $50 rebate just for participating. Some standards: the unit must be in working condition. A customer is limited to 2 refrigerators, freezer, and 3 room air conditioners per year. As I mentioned, a customer will earn a $50 rebate per appliance. Here again, it's all about reducing the energy consumption, switching out an inefficient appliance and putting in a newer model that runs more efficiently. I like this program also because we do educate our customers on the environmental benefits of recycling, and it also helps to reduce illegal dumping in our community. So we get a lot of participation in this program. And it's just an 800 number that you call and set a schedule. They'll come and pick it up, and you get a rebate check in like 4 to 6 weeks. Okay.
It helps reduce the those who get a new refrigerator and just move the old one to the garage.
To the garage.
So they didn't reduce any energy usage, they actually increased it
Yeah,
because they got a new refrigerator. Plus, yeah.
I
So-
just was saying to Emily, that refrigerator, man, that reminds me of about 1968.
Yeah, that's an old, that's a goodie.
Hey, that'd work in a man cave, right?
Yeah, a beer pool, yeah. Absolutely.
So next we have our residential home energy evaluation. And here's where we educate customers on how they use energy in their home. And this is a free program, and actually all of our programs are free, and you actually get a rebate or incentive on most of these, but it's a free home energy audit. And it is available in person or during COVID. We couldn't really go in people's homes, so we started up a virtual option for our customers, and it's been really successful. You can use your smartphone, go around with the auditor in your home, show them things, your hot water heater, your furnace, and they do an audit that way. If you are doing an in-person audit, the auditors will directly install, switch out, if you need faucet aerators, low flow shower head, pipe insulation, weather stripping, and LEDs, and our customers receive a $50 rebate just for participating. If you are a virtual customer, they will send you a kit, those items in, show that you've installed them, and you get another $50 rebate. Key on this one is that this is also available for renters. We get that a lot in Pueblo. We have a really high rental market in Pueblo, so yeah, we do allow renters to participate.
So is there quite good participation in this? Is there a lot of participation?
So We use this really as our number one tool for when a customer calls in with a bill issue or complaint. My bill's too high, my bill's so. And they're asking us, why? Well, we have a person on the phone, a lot of times they can't answer why. They will, do you have a hot tub, or, you have this or this? But we recommend that they get a home energy audit. It's gonna tell them exactly what's happening, what their usage has been, what's on, what are they using, what are their high users. It gives them recommendations on what they should do. So that's the first step. And then depending on that report, then they can either come back in, maybe they needed to buy that new, clothes washer. Get them to buy an Energy Star clothes washer, they get a rebate for that. So we kind of walk them through, use that as the tool to help them understand their usage and what's going on.
Just to pass on a little bit of info to the committee. 4 Mile Community Club, the building. I looked at the bills for the last month from the power company and from the gas. And gas was $4 higher than Black Hills. Same building, same usage, same everything, good apples to apples deal. So,
May I interject for just a second?
Absolutely.
We've looked on just to see, who here are our trade allies, just for this group identification. So Territory and Harding here in Kansas City are the two electrical contractors, and Harding does residential if you're interested. There are trade allies here, and then there's 2 or 3 in Pueblo as well.
You should do some outreach to some other people too, so that people have a choice. I mean, to other. people
If
that
you
do
have
electric-
contractors that
Yeah,
please let me know.
contractors,
Yeah,
I
please
mean,
let me
not that
know.
I used to, but
Mhm.
still, it'd be nice to not be locked in because they're busy.
They're very busy, I know.
That's a very good.
Yeah,
It's hard to get anybody to get some more.
I know
Yeah.
Matthews does.
Matthews, yeah.
Residential.
River Valley, I mean,
Yeah, River Valley, yeah, that's a good.
Yeah, Patty can reach out to those folks and get them signed up. It is not. It's certainly, we have standards, but it's not to where it's impossible to meet those standards. So simply go through a few check boxes and
Well,
make sure
they're
they've got
very
certain.
long-lived contractors in the area and very reliable.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Great. Yeah, please pass them along.
Yeah,
And
I've got
not-
those names.
Okay,
Yeah, and not all measures are required to be installed by a contractor as
Oh,
well.
yeah.
So that's a good point to think about as well. So.
so in the new DSM plan, we have a pilot program that we're looking at implementing, and this is all about electrification. And so we're encouraging our customers to convert to electric space and water heating, and there are rebates available for air source heat pumps, geothermal, and heat pump water heaters. So it is a pilot. If you know of any customers that are interested in maybe participating, working with us, doing the switch, we'd be appreciative of the leads.
Say more, I want to be sure I understand.
Mhm.
Space, are you talking literal space heaters or? what?
No,
That's just saying electric heat in the
Yes.
space. you have. Okay.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Good clarification.
it is a good clarification. I'll take that word out.
My son lives in Florida and he has a heat pump.
Uh-huh.
And it's really interesting.
Right,
And
right.
of course, there's the system that's been in at middle school for a long time.
Mhm.
And that seems to have worked. I haven't heard any yelling about it. So it's possible here, when you think about, oh, well, that's Florida. The ground down there is hot all the time and it reverses us, but we're still not Minnesota. So, that's interesting.
Well, that's part of why we're doing it as a pilot program, is because there really isn't a lot of data for
Right.
our customers, specific customers here in Colorado. There's some people that say they work, some people that say they don't. So we want to get the actual data and see what does and doesn't work for our customers to know should we be providing this program or should we not? So that's why
Yeah.
we're doing it as a pilot in this first go around. Get that information, be able to evaluate it and make a determination on,
Yeah.
again,
You've got,
what
you
is the
know,
reality here in Colorado.
So many different kinds of soil and
Mhm.
terrain and stuff. Florida is like sand, sandstone, limestone.
Well, even in Colorado, we have such there's a wide range of weather.
Oh,
conditions.
absolutely, yeah.
You know, I
Yeah,
mean, we're pretty lucky here, right?
yeah, yeah, the banana belt.
In the, yeah,
Yeah.
in the Black Hills electric territory, but if you go up north, that's where it's gonna be more challenging, and so. Having data on these systems is really what we're trying to accomplish, and, yeah, how far we could take it in Colorado.
Mhm.
So, this is the residential new home construction program, and we kind of renamed it to our Ready Home Electric Program. Ready is our brand, so.
And you're done.
Yeah, that's
So
kind of where we're
ready.
going. So, for residential new home construction, there are basically two paths that you could take. And these are, really for the builder. Okay. There's the prescriptive path and then the performance path. So the prescriptive path, we have 3 levels of a home. And they are given points based on what is installed in the home. So Energy Star appliances, what is their HVAC system. And so they get a score, and if they, out of 100, and if the efficient home is 50 points, they receive $1,500. If it's an electric efficient home, at 75 points, they get $3,500. And then our advanced electric home has an EV charger with solar. And that rebate is $6,000 to a builder for putting those things in a home. So hopefully that's an incentive to think of these things as we're building newer homes. And then the performance path is a HERS rating, which is a home energy rating score, and that also is of 100. This is a national ranking system. And so it looks at your heating system, whether it's electric or not electric, and then the rebate. So depending on your score, this rebate is $1,500 to $3,000. So what, I guess my question is, what's the landscape here for residential new home construction?
Slim.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I
It's
thought.
been slowing this year.
Uh-huh.
Last year we did about 40 to 45 new homes
Okay.
within Canyon City.
Okay,
Well, and they're mostly standalones too. They're not,
Correct.
like a
Yeah.
development or anything
Mhm.
like that, so.
But this is available for not just builders,
Okay.
anybody that's building anything.
correct, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It doesn't have to be a big development or anything. It can be a standalone.
Is that, well, I guess we'll see if over time if that's enough of a rebate or incentive, because. I mean, I would think that monthly bills, it would just be interesting to see the projection of monthly bills for these different paths as opposed to another path. 'Cause I just don't know. I don't know if that's enough to really incentivize all of them.
It's an incentive for a homeowner, not necessarily a home builder, because the homeowner is gonna see the savings over time versus the home builders trying in and out.
With, if you're paying for all electric heat, and water heating and so forth, I would assume that see it on your bill, so to speak.
Mhm.
So I don't know, where you go with that issue, but it's certainly, our whole effort here started because of the high cost of electricity in this part of the state, and then to go in this direction, and there's all kinds of good reasons to go in this direction from an environmental point of view, but how do we get over the hump of, well, now your electric bill is gonna be
gonna be
whatever.
more.
I just think we all have to be engaged in the discussion. I don't know what the answer is, but. You're fine.
As a consumer. When I get my Black Hills bill, I pay it and go on to the next one. Whatever it is. I don't even consider trying to check in to different programs you guys may offer. And so, yeah, it's like,
Are we changing
do
your
we
mind?
have to be spoon fed?
Are we changing your mind?
What's that? I got no complaints.
So
I have
you're,
absolutely no
this isn't
complaints.
incentivizing you, is that what you're
Right.
saying, Doug?
It takes me a lot to move.
Okay.
But you do bring up a good point. We talked about this early on, is well, how can we better educate and share with our customers to educate them on what we do offer? Some may or may not feel the need for it, or maybe in the past haven't, but recognizing that that could be changing. As we have financial pressures across the board and the financial impact, inflation and so forth, so. Definitely interested in learning more about that.
It might be interesting, I don't know how you do it, because you can't even get the parents to come to see what the kids doing at school. If they're getting Fs and beating up other kids, but to put some kind of a program in to reach parents in the schools, because they're the ones that are spending the money.
We do have one. We're gonna talk about it. a
Oh,
little
all
bit.
right.
Yes.
Well, yeah. So.
We read your mind.
You know, this kind of gets back to going back to the basics, like having home ec
Well. oh,
in
yeah.
school. These kind of things have been pushed aside, I think, to allow more time, excuse me, for social programs. But those are the kind of things where these could be presented, a class like that. Maybe not home ec, but a program, a curriculum that would include, you know, we don't have these resources here forever and ever. We need to
Right.
help preserve.
So as we talked before about going to jail for not paying attention to your
Hey,
thermostat.
my last bill was only $320. Only.
Yeah. So this is also a pilot in the new plan. We have, this is new, we did not have this before, so residential thermostat demand response, and this is a program to decrease the usage during peak demand to provide grid relief. Okay, so our customers sign up and receive a $50 cash incentive for signing up, and then an annual incentive of $25. It runs through the summer months, and here it provides an alert for customers to turn up their thermostat for short periods of time when the grid is stressed. So
What sort of an alert, like on a phone?
probably, yeah.
Why don't they make it a part of the weather report? During these hours,
course.
this day, when it's 100 degrees, you might need to consider turning down. Or up your, or whatever.
For everybody,
Yeah,
not just.
Right,
yeah.
right, yeah.
So we do a little bit of that
Do
now.
you?
Yeah,
Oh,
we
okay.
actually do send, and the last one I got was in July, but we can send out a, hey, by the way, you know, things are hot, you might want to
Yeah.
consider increasing the temperature just a
Yeah.
little bit, because, you know, it also is gonna drive consumption and price.
Yeah. Well, 'cause
So we've been
watching
trying to do more of
California-
that. We're actually gonna
Yeah,
intensify those kind of communications in the next, 12 months here in Colorado. So just be watching for more of that. If you're not seeing it, I'd love to hear it, but it's gonna come through email and social as well, but targeting specifically email when it's going direct to customers.
because looking at California, last week, was it, they begged people to turn up their thermostats and what, 29% or something? Had a really good response, so, if people are aware, then they might do it.
Sure.
I'm not saying they will, I think you might.
Out of curiosity, what's the definition of when the grid is stressed and who sets that?
We have actually specific numbers, in fact, through our Storm Uri settlement. We have, and I don't remember whether it's within 95% of our peak load or exactly what it is, but we've got some numbers. We can get those for you, but. So as you look at the system, most of the time, it's not the energy that's caused the problem, it's the demand,
Yeah.
right, which is the instantaneous
Trigger.
need. And so they're generally based on if we're within a certain percentage of our historical peak demand, then that, at that point is when we'll call for these measures or call for reducing usage or things of that nature. So, but it's getting, I think people are starting to understand a little bit more that, hey, if I've had 2 or 3 days of really hot weather, we're probably starting to use a little bit of energy, and that it's those types of periods where, okay, if I can stand to turn the thermostat up a little bit, then maybe I should help conserve a little bit of energy, not only for the utility, but for the individual user as well. So, and I'm guilty of this as well. I keep claiming I'm gonna get a thermostat that I can control from the internet, so that when I'm not home, I can turn it back down because my wife has turned it up in the winter. Or turn it, we don't have AC, but so, but just, those types of things. I think the public is becoming more and more aware through kind of the communications that we've been doing, the emails and things like that. There is we have to be very careful too about over communicating, because then people are like, I am tired of getting these emails, I'm just gonna unsubscribe. And that's not helpful either, because then we have limited ways that we can communicate with our customers. Particularly if they've said, hey, don't communicate with me. And so we want to be as helpful as we can to our customers without getting on the unsubscribe list.
And I'll tell you, there's a lot of attention to how we make that communication. Recently, I heard that, one of the most effective communications we had is the one that right in the subject line said, bills are going down. Right? I mean, that grabs your attention, right? But it always really that direct kind of communication to
Yeah.
say, hey, this is what's happening, be aware of your usage.
Always
And
takes
so
raw
as we
to make-
communicate to you all, if you have feedback for me, I'd love to hear it, because, we are intricately involved in the messages, so.
This is a rebate per customer,
Mhm.
right? And how do you measure compliance with that? I mean, so this is all kind of prospective, is that right? You haven't been running this yet?
Not yet.
Yeah, so this perspective, how do you think you're gonna be measuring compliance? I mean, so if you get a rebate and you blow off all the messages, how will you be measuring?
Well, the information has to be coming back to us in some ways. Let me see if it is in the plan. Nick, do you have any?
I don't off the top of my head, but we can get back to you on that, John. I don't know. Funny, I wrote down for my own edification specifically how the program works, because there are some utilities that put a little device on your AC unit, and it will just turn the unit off for a few minutes and then turn it on. So it doesn't actually control your thermostat. So no one's going in and saying, I'm gonna change this thermostat from 72 to 78. It actually just turns off. And so that's,
I think it's a
I'm-
meter read, actually.
Yeah, so I'm not sure, but we'll be able, I mean, from a compliance standpoint, yeah, we'll be able to see, did your usage actually go down or did it not? Some of those things. So, but we can get the specifics for you. Like I said, I'm just not sure exactly how we're planning on implementing the program.
But
So-
then,
But
So
we'll find out.
You'll have people that will comply with requests or whatever, or I have devices in the house. You have people that won't sign up for the program.
Mhm.
You have people that won't comply. And that should be kind of black and white.
Yeah.
Be able to determine those groups. What do you do about a reluctant person that says, well, I'm not gonna do it today, I mean, how do you think that one, how you handle those circumstances?
The same way that the circumstances of not using your turn signal time. It's like, you can't force some people to do stuff that's good for them, or seatbelts, that's good for them. It's that personal choice thing. But then when they end up in the hospital, then we all have to pay for their medical care. So, just not going there. But, it's just
Also-
people, John.
But there's money involved,
Oh, yeah,
and so
yeah.
people can take advantage of this to get money.
Yeah.
And so my question is,
Yeah.
what about those people kind of in the middle between that? I'm not gonna do this, or I'm gonna do this every time. How will you handle those?
Yeah.
That situation?
Yeah, again, I'm not sure how we're implementing the program, but we'll get that for you and all that. I know all that is laid out in there and I've read through it once or twice already, but I just don't recall.
Where is this
Exactly.
available?
It would be in our energy efficiency plan.
So
I'm
it's
trying to remember if that's
essentially
online or not.
regulatory language.
It is online.
Fair to describe it that way.
It's probably somewhat regulatory language. Yeah, because it'll define how the program works, what you, as a customer, how you sign up for it. And then, like I said, I know in there is also, as a customer, if you're not following it, here's where you're not getting your rebate. So there is a carrot and a stick. If you're not following the rules of the program, you're not gonna be getting your rebates.
I don't, is this enough of an incentive? For people to even sign up for it? I don't know. I'm not sure.
I don't know either, yeah.
Yeah, we don't,
Yeah,
and we'll
it's not
find
a
out. Yeah.
lot. So,
Yeah, we'll find out.
Right, and
And I don't think that we're necessarily out of I90 Excel has a similar program
Okay.
now. I think they gave a $50 rebate, and you've heard customers screaming last week
Yeah.
because they got their air conditioners turned off for a short period of time, screaming like
right.
Yeah.
hundreds of thousands of unhappy people. Well, we took the incentive.
Yeah, you signed up for
You
it.
signed up.
Yeah.
So, you can be unhappy all you want. You chose your path.
Exactly.
And don't forget, incentives are paid for by us.
Oh, yeah.
They're what?
And so I wanted
paid
to
for by
have an.
us.
Oh, of course, it's just like every program that Black Hills feels they need to put out to inform the customer is expense to them, which is expense to us.
And to be clear, most of the time we are required to give that,
Oh,
to
sure.
do the program. So,
Sure, yeah.
so we want them to be as effective as possible.
Yeah.
What works in my house is I don't have central air, I have a swamp cooler, and so you just watch the temperature and not fill up enough because the swamp cooler only does so much. It works real well. Unless you don't like it.
So the last, I'm sorry.
Go and run through those.
The last program that we have in the residential customer sector, I don't have a slide for it, but it's it's an online marketplace. This is in development. And it's gonna be kind of our Amazon for energy efficiency measures. So our customers can buy smart thermostats, power strips, insulation. We haven't developed all of the items yet, and but it'll be, like I said, like an Amazon where customers can go in and buy these energy efficiency measures, get an instant rebate shipped right to their home. So we're anxious to get that up and running.
Yeah, we're also looking at doing, we talked about the EV program a few weeks ago, I don't remember when that was, but also looking at potentially putting those on the online marketplace as well, so that as a customer, you can go in and say, yes, I want this charger, and it gets shipped to your house, and sign up your installer, and so the benefit of doing the online marketplace is now as a customer, if you get a programmable thermostat, you don't then have to go out and fill out that rebate form that Patty was talking about earlier. It's just automatically built in. And when you go through the process, put in your customer number, your name, address, it will automatically check and make sure you're a Black Hills customer. If you're a Black Hills customer, there you go. It automatically discounts the price for the value of the rebate. So it's a much easier point of sale, not have to fill out stuff later to get your rebate. I'm sure I'm not alone, and I'll go somewhere, get a rebate. I got the form and I fill it out, and then it gets stuck in a drawer somewhere. And then by the time I come back across that form, I'm like, oh, it's too late to send that in. So I
2
guess
years later.
yeah, I guess I didn't get that rebate. So it makes it very convenient for customers, and it helps us too, because now we don't have to go through that rebate process.
What's the estimated timeline for the launch of that?
Probably early next year. Yeah, we're meeting with vendors now. We'll be sending out an RFP It's interesting because we first looked at this as energy efficiency. And then, as Nick just mentioned, EVs, and now other departments are like, well, what about, can we get on that too? So I think it's gonna be pretty cool till we get it all done, but out of the gate, it'll be energy efficiency and probably our electric vehicles, so early 23. So next we will go into our commercial and industrial programs. First one we'll talk about is our small business direct install. This is for businesses that are less than 50,000 square feet. We encourage them to install and upgrade their lighting, their HVAC systems and refrigeration measures. Here again, the customers receive a free energy audit. We partner with Franklin Energy. They provide the technical services for us and do the on-site audits. They are fantastic. I don't know if you've heard any businesses, and I have a few that we'll look at in a minute here, but that have experienced this program. We get 5-star reviews on this all the time. So a customer will receive a free energy evaluation. They receive a $50 incentive just for participation. And then we also do some direct installation of low-cost energy efficiency measures such as LED lighting, some water flow restrictors, and they do that right there on site. The beauty of this is that it gives a report back to the business owner that here again shows them what their usage is, gives them ideas on how to reduce their usage, what needs to be maybe repaired, replaced, and then based on that report, should the business go forward and want to do some installations of equipment, they're receive an incentive of 70% of the equipment costs. That's huge. Goes back to the customer. So, go ahead.
And this is one, Ryan, last week we talked about potentially parting with one of the small businesses or something here with one of your historic buildings. That this would be that program that we would likely use to help them go through that, so.
The next slide, as I mentioned, here's a list of audits that have been done in the past 4 to 5 weeks here in Canyon and locally. I think there's some over 1 or 2 over in Fremont, yeah. But as you can see, it is such a myriad of types of businesses, coffee shops to the tattoo parlor to churches. We really put a lot of focus on churches. And we'll talk a little bit later about on this list, as you can see at the bottom, it says Livingstone, Calvary, Chapel, and NEEP referral at the end. That NEEP is the energy efficiency program for our low-income customers. And so the NEEP is for nonprofits, i.e. churches, but the churches can get a better benefit refund and installations if they go through the small business program. So that's why we tend to run them through that. And the NEEP program is calendar based, so they have to apply certain times of year, whereas the small business is open to them all the time. So have you ever heard of anyone, a business that has gone through this program and gotten any feedback? Okay. So it was mentioned that we do a case study or two. We can certainly do that. Most of these do have case studies with, they all have a report. So if there's ever a time that you want to check if a business has an audit or had an audit, and you want to see the report, we can certainly get that for you.
How old is this program? This is fairly.
It
new,
is,
isn't it?
it was in the last plan, so that would have been 19 to 21.
Because I know my former business, we had an energy audit and they changed our light bulbs. And said, you need to get new freezers because these are inefficient. We didn't get any 70%. I'll guarantee you that,
Well, maybe it's
but-
time to revisit that, yeah.
Well, yeah, that's what I
Mhm.
marked it to
Yeah.
have, because my daughter and her husband now use that building. and
Okay.
Their bill last month was like $1,000, and they're in there only, maybe 3-4 days working. but those freezers and coolers are running 24/7, so I'm gonna show them this revised.
Yeah, and what we
Plan.
did, the last plan, refrigeration wasn't included.
Right,
And we
right.
saw a need for that,
Yeah.
so when we came out with this year, or this, DSM plan, we added refrigeration. For the
Yeah,
small business customers, yeah.
So the water flow part of this plan, that's all aimed at reducing heating water costs, is that right?
Correct.
Yeah, and the ancillary benefit is less water use.
Right.
Which saves money too. And when you look at it from kind of a holistic picture, the cost to process water is very, very energy intensive process. And so if we can save water, we save energy costs in the processing of the water as well. So that's an area that's become very kind of focused in the last couple of years, is the energy use of water companies and how they can also improve in their energy use and improve efficiency to make processing water less costly. And then for them, look at how do we find leaks, prevent leaks, because when you're dumping that water down the road because of a leak, there's a whole bunch of energy and money that went into processing that water. And so how do we save that money and energy through leak detection and some of those things? So
This is our most successful program in Colorado Electric. And I would love to say, we want to go out and promote it, but they're so busy.
Oh, yeah.
This is the catch-22 one where we really want to offer this to our customers. We're never going to be too busy. I mean, we'll get it in, but it's a matter of our budget and those kind of things. I mean, halfway through the year, they're already at their goals, but we don't want that to, stop the good work that they're doing. So we slow it down a little bit, but if there's a business organization, even Rotaries, those kind of things in town that would like a presentation just on maybe this program or, all of them, whatever you might think would be appropriate. We appreciate the opportunity to do that. So just let us know. Let John know.
That is no.
So the next one is our indoor agriculture program, and this was a pilot during our last DSM plan, and it was really focused on the cannabis industry. They are big users of energy, water, all resources. So we came up with a audit program, a free audit program for this industry. And it's now indoor agriculture. We're not seeing a shift, but we are seeing some grows go out of business and become maybe a tomato growing facility indoors, hydroponics. We have some salad, greens, hydroponic system. So it's really for any indoor agriculture operation. And as I mentioned, so the customers receive a free energy assessment. And here again, they get a proposal on how they could improve, what they might need. It's a great capital planning tool for businesses. They might not be able to do this, maybe replace, their HVAC system 2 weeks after we give them the report, but they could plan and maybe in second quarter 2023 they could. So it's a really nice tool for businesses. And so here listed are some of the eligible measures: LEDs, HVAC, insulation upgrades, fan replacements, pump systems, and motor replacements. So kind of made it broad for that industry, to be able to become as more efficient as possible. And what's happening is, we have so many grows that competition is high amongst them, and it's with any business. If we can help them lower their operating costs, and the lighting projects we've seen they've just been phenomenal as far as helping these businesses reduce their usage. So it's working out really well. And then the other thing we did in this for this program is we established the Southern Colorado Cannabis Alliance, and it's a nonprofit group that really helps to promote the industry in Southern Colorado. We found it challenging for the first couple of years to be able to develop partnerships with grows. It's the nature of their business. we're a utility. It's kind of like we're from the government, we're here to help you. They didn't believe us. So we came up with this, established this SoCo Alliance, Cannabis Alliance, to help us partner with the industry, get to know them and build trust. And it's been working really well. They hold 3 to 4 events per year. There's one this Friday coming up. And in this program, we also work with Franklin Energy. And they just do a fantastic job with this thing.
So is this pretty much just commercial indoor ag?
Correct.
Okay.
So within the commercial and industrial customer base, we have quite a few programs that are kind of tied together. And so in the past, they were, you know, it was just individual programs and you just kind of like had to figure it out for yourself. So we tried to make it more structured this round, this plan. And so we came up with commercial and industrial solutions. And so the parts to this are, when we go in to talk with a large customer, large industrial customer, it doesn't have to be large, but a commercial or industrial customer. We talk to them about their energy management systems. We talk about retro commissioning, strategic energy management, compressed air, and then the possible audit. Okay. So the audit should actually be at the top of the page because that's where we tell all of our customers to start. You know, you can't plan where you're going if you don't know where you are. So that's kind of, you know, and they're all free. For our large industrial audits, we use Michael's Energy. They are experts in large commercial and industrial audits here in Canyon. They have done hospital, and they've also done the treatment plant within the past year. Those audits are available. If you ever wanted to see them, you can. And especially with a large industrial customer, these audits are an absolute capital planning tool. So, I mean, you can imagine the treatment plant wanting to switch out some motors, you know, they're not going to happen. It might be 2-3 years for some of these things to happen, but they have a plan and they can update it, you know, annually if they need to, but you know, it gives them some direction for the future. And so some other pieces of that are the energy management system in a larger facility is, you know, just what it says, that it's a system that's going to control all the electricity usage in that facility. So you might have pumps over here, you might have grinders over here, you might want to have, you know, another part of the plant be on from 12 to 6 and another part on from 6 to 12. So an energy management system is all the controls that help operate the electric usage in a facility. And so we help businesses develop those and install those systems because it's going to help your operation run more efficiently. Retro commissioning is about going in an existing facility and helping them tweak to get back to normal. So you have that energy management system or you have controls in your facility. It's not unusual for them to get tweaked, and over time you might have new employees. Maybe somebody just even walked by a valve and hit it, you know. And so what a retro commissioning does is goes back in and looks at that whole system, make sure everything is set, all your set points are where they need to be, and that's going to help you run as optimized. It's going to optimize your efficiency for running the facility. And we help you with that. Strategic energy management. I love this part. This is the fun piece where we help businesses set up energy management programs, and it's all about educating their employees on what the energy impacts are in their business. Summit Brick was one that we worked with. IndieDwell, we worked with them. They put together a plan for their employees. It included even not hiring, but selecting an employee to be the energy champion or the energy guru. It kind of leads that, and it's really about changing behavior. So if we can help this industry, facility, company change their employees' behavior, even putting little stickers in the bathroom, hey, turn the lights off when you're done. Put a motion sensor in, it's a lot easier, but you know, simple things like that. But it's about educating people, and it can save you a lot of money in your business. So that's another program that we offer. And then a compressed air audit. There's a money available and rebates incentives for a study, and then also for purchasing a new air compressor and repairing what you have. It's surprising how much air leaks contribute to energy use in facilities, so it definitely pays off. So that's it in the commercial and industrial solutions. Questions? Good?
Well, you want to mention the large, just an overall industrial audit.
The large industrial audit, here again, free. It's that, as I said, it becomes that roadmap for a facility to help them achieve the highest level of energy efficiency that they can. And we help them with all the rebates, we let them know what they potentially are, so they have a fantastic roadmap for moving forward. Next is our commercial new construction program. And so this provides incentives and design assistance in new construction and also major renovations. We tend to, thank you, get in on these a little bit later than we'd like to, even though we can still help the customer participate. So any ideas you might have on how to find these projects before they get started be helpful for us. But so what we do is energy modeling, and we come up with a good, better, best scenario for new construction or major remodel. And it's about, say you might put in a HVAC system that has a value of 16, which is good, but better might be 18, best might be 21. And so we're trying to encourage the construction and the install of these measures to be as efficient as possible. And there's an incentive for each one of those levels. And the incentive is based on square footage. And that is, so there's a design incentive and then there's a construction incentive. Okay, so then after they do the construction, there is a field check. But as you can see on the slide, they need to have a 5% higher energy savings than there's national codes. And they receive between 6 and 19 cents per kilowatt saved. So there's a good incentive for a business to do this. This also is a very successful program. As I said, we miss a lot of programs and projects because we're getting in on the tail end of them, but
I think of when we think about this program, when the rec district was looking at a pool, this was one of the first conversations I had with Kyle, which is if you get there, we need to go through this program. This might be a tool with the planning department because they tend to see projects pretty early.
Yep.
Maybe there's an opportunity to educate your staff about, getting some folks directed back to us. I also think about like Three Rocks Engineering, who's on a lot of projects. So maybe Patty getting in front of the engineering groups to share this, because if we miss them, that it's a one-time opportunity, right?
Right.
I mean, now we're going back to audit and redo systems you already purchased. So getting this in on the front end is really super important. Anytime there's a public project specifically, we should be absolutely first. When we're doing the jail project in Pueblo, they didn't know, they hadn't even been able to complete their documents for their bonding. We were already having conversations with them literally a year before they even started. So we way early in that project. So just want to encourage everybody to please think of us when you see new buildings going up. We should be very front of mind.
I'd say probably having to sit down with Rick Parr and our as well.
Yep.
I have a quick question on that. One bullet where it says must achieve a 5% higher energy savings than. Can you just clarify what that means exactly? What has to be achieved?
so
When is it measured now?
yeah, so it's measured after the project is complete. And the International Energy Code and ASHRAE have a energy savings associated with what's installed. or a code, they need to be 5% over that code. Okay, so the designer and will look at the codes, make sure that whatever they're gonna put in, is gonna achieve over 5%.
So that's projected, it's not like you're looking at the bills.
Yeah, there's certain, for certain installations, they have kind of set standard on what it saves or what the energy use is, and so they use those standards as a comparison. So if you were gonna put in, for example, I'll go back to, it doesn't apply to this because it's residential, but if you were gonna put in like a 85% efficient furnace that has a certain energy uses versus, oh, I'm gonna put in a 95%, that has a certain energy usage associated with it. And so that's the comparison they do using standard tables and energy savings for the systems.
So when you're in the design phase and we talk about the good, better, best scenarios, that even the good has to be at least that 5%. When you're hitting the best, you're probably at about 18 to 20% savings over just that baseline standard industry standard.
So every government entity that regulates, construction activities within their jurisdiction has a planning commission.
Absolutely.
Planning
Yeah.
commissions have checklists.
Yeah.
And what you want is you want to ask the planning commission or that authority, the government authority, to include notification to Black Hills at the beginning of projects. Because that's where that's what,
Yeah.
that's really what you're looking for.
That's a good idea, John.
And if it's on the checklist, then you don't have to worry about educating staffers or anything like that.
And that-
It becomes kind of an automatic.
And Black Hills is a referral agency for a lot of those, even things that don't even go to the planning commission.
So,
Yeah.
so do those, the question for you guys is, do those referrals get passed by the right people in your organization? Because referrals are for, is there power to this property?
Yeah.
Okay,
It's our planning department, right? It's-
Yeah.
so there's some stuff that, man, you guys can do too.
Yeah.
Triggers a conversation about the project, or the program.
And of course, the specific one, I'm thinking about right away is Lowe's. Right?
Oh, yeah.
We're gonna have a big travel plaza.
Mhm.
If you guys haven't had that discussion.
Exactly.
You're through three rocks, I'm sure you are.
Yeah, and we had early discussions actually, because they're doing a lot of solar there, so our business development team has worked pretty closely with them, and in fact, the gentleman who presented at FDPC the other day, when he gave compliment to Russ, it was because there really wasn't anything kind of in it for us, they're not gonna use a lot of energy, but Russ continued to interact with them and make sure that we did everything we could, so. Kudos to him, really. That wasn't his job per se, but he was still a good steward.
Ready to move forward?
Yeah.
So this also is new, in this DSM plan, and it is something that we're working on. But it's listed, so I wanted to bring it up, but this is our voluntary load curtailment. Now, remember, this is for commercial and industrial, so it's a business with a peak demand of greater than 250 kilowatts in the past 12 months. And it's actually a tariff on their bill to help them. We're gonna give them a lower rate. So it's an opportunity to help them with higher energy bills. I don't know if you want to add anything to that, Nick, or-
No, I said, this is, yes. They're pretty common, curtailment programs that as a customer you phone up. So I would say I want to curtail my usage by X amount when you guys ask me to. There's certain contracts that are associated with that they get an incentive to do so. So it's helps the utility from the standpoint when we hit those high demand days, making sure that we don't exceed our demand. At the same time, customer can save a little bit of money.
I'm not good at quantifying what size business this would be.
250 kilowatt demand is a pretty pretty substantial.
Right.
I'm trying to think of how many houses that would be. It's probably. I'd say from a demand standpoint, you're probably looking at 6 to 10 houses. Yeah,
Well, I guess
Yeah,
another way to
residential.
ask my question is, are there a lot of businesses that come under this? I mean, would
There are
fit into
not.
this?
Yeah,
That's
if
what
I
I'm-
remember, you said that there was somewhere where you could say to them, hey, you gotta shut down, and we don't, there aren't any. in
Yeah, we have no,
territory.
at this point in
Yeah,
time, we have no interruptible customers.
Interruptible. that
Yeah,
was the word.
yeah, interruptible curtailment. We don't have any of those customers.
Have someone that big.
Yeah,
That would be awesome.
Generally, yes, no, it would be, generally, it's a manufacturing facility or,
Mine.
processing,
I would say
yeah,
Even the mine.
rock-
is not one,
rock or mine processing.
The- Yeah,
There's some-
but they're still
Yeah,
not.
awesome.
interruptible.
Yeah,
So-
well, and it really
That's
depends,
different.
yeah, and it depends on as a customer, whether you can do that, right? Do I
Oh,
have the
sure, yeah,
ability
yeah.
to, because a lot of manufacturing, you look at like Wholesome or a rock crushing plant or mining. When they turn a motor on to run a conveyor belt,
Yeah.
that motor's running.
Yeah.
And if they shut down the conveyor belt, they're shutting down their production.
Yeah. Well, I
Uh,
always equate it in my grocery store. It's like, okay, do you want lower energy bills or do you want melted ice? cream? You
Right,
have the choice,
right.
you know, and our customers couldn't put up with that. We turned
Yeah.
out lights because the old style, displays had lights all over the place and we turned out lights.
Yeah.
Literally
then-
unplugged them.
And there are some of the manufacturing in that they can do that, right?
Oh, sure.
They can turn down lights in one section of the plant, or they can shut down a certain part of production, but leave others up. So there's various stages of it too. It's not a complete, we're gonna shut down your whole plant.
Sure.
It's, hey, we just. And again, it's part of that contract. Okay, if you agree to curtail X amount, this is what that incentive will be. Obviously, the more you can curtail, the higher the incentive, but it is difficult. It's difficult for most commercial operations to make that work. So,
Are there any in the city here that fit under?
I don't know. We'd have to go look.
We can check.
Prisons?
The prison might, but I kind of doubt it.
Fortunately, might be Interroll might be the only one that other one that would get close.
Yeah.
Maybe the prison when they're stamping license.
So, now we will move into our, special programs, and this is, I was gonna say, does anyone have one of those?
Jerry's got one of those, yeah, yeah.
Our income qualified assistance programs, and so, I don't have an individual slide for each of these, but we'll talk about this list of programs that, are under income qualified. So we have a lighting distribution, our, partner, vendor, implementer is Energy Outreach Colorado. I gave each of you a brochure in your packet from them. If you need more, let us know. Yep, that's it. Thank you. And it is also available in Spanish. Yeah. So they do lighting distribution with local food distributions and food pantries. It has worked really well. We feel like we're getting the light bulbs to customers that could really use them, so they help us with that. Energy savings kits or energy efficiency kits. Black Hills has a kit and then Energy Outreach has a kit. They're a little bit different, but Energy Outreach focuses only on income qualified. So when they do a weatherization project in a home, they will get a weatherization kit, or again, they'll work with the local food pantries and the distributions and give them out at that time. They'll be in schools giving, kids that don't participate in the school program, which we're gonna talk about in a couple minutes. They give them to take home. So they help distribute the energy savings kit. They implement the single family weatherization program, and this is for people that, again, are income qualified. They will go in and do insulation, they replace refrigerators, swamp coolers, all at no charge for these customers. It's a great program. We have Pueblo County Department of Health, Human Health Services is the actual boots on the ground, doing these installations. They do a fantastic job. Good group of people. And they do our entire service area. They actually have down past Trinidad, they have all of southern Colorado. So while they're based in Pueblo, they have quite a large geographical area that they service. A question had came up here one time, do they do Canyon City? Absolutely, yeah. And then the whole home pilot, and we'll talk about that in a minute, because that has its own slide. That's a new program we're looking at. Multifamily weatherization, same thing, here apartment complexes, multifamily homes, with, income qualified, customers will be able to get weatherized, and this again is for renters and or homeowners, so. And then the nonprofit energy efficiency program for NEEP, allows us to help local nonprofits if they are, if they serve the public in some way, such as like a food pantry, a church, maybe a homeless shelter. We did the East Side Market last year, Sunnyside Market. We provided them funding to put in a new HVAC system, and it was totally weatherized, so they opened the first free pantry on the east side, which is really needed in Pueblo. So we were a big part of that. So that was a great project. But as I mentioned, sometimes what they can pay for and what their restrictions are, we can do better for the customer in different programs. So we always go to NEET first, just to let them know, but.
Do we know if Loaves and Fishes is taking advantage of any of this? They're doing an expansion or have done, I'm not sure where they are exactly.
Oh, no, yeah, we need
They've
to talk to
expanded
them.
their beds,
Which
and they
purpose?
plan to build a warehouse, which is where.
It's-
Yeah, we need to get that, yeah.
And that's another example. of How do you connect at the right time with the right
Mhm.
people? But yeah, they're expanding the shelter and building more food distribution areas.
Great, okay.
So that will go through the planning department,
Mhm.
and that does come back, to your Black Hills reviewers,
Mhm.
kick that over to the right. people.
Yep, yep.
We're trying to find that out.
Mhm.
Thank you.
What's the timing of that expansion?
You know, I wish I knew.
Well, I
Well,
wish
they-
Kirk was here, because I think he's on the board. isn't he?
They've completed the expansion of the beds. They're gonna
Right.
move into the warehouse next.
Yes.
So
Okay,
I think they have a groundbreaking this Friday, actually, for the warehouse.
Okay.
and sometimes we have the ability to go back, as long as it's in
Mhm.
this calendar year, we make things work.
Yep.
We have magic. And then, so I just want to touch on this whole home pilot project. And what we saw, the last plan was that weatherization's great, but sometimes it only can go so far. And so there might be another issue in a home that, could we take care of that is related to energy efficiency? And so maybe for a real emergency, that's just like a hot water heater, refrigerator down, that kind of stuff, we take care of this. But what if, we looked at somebody's insulation and it was all moldy? There's a leak, the roof was leaking. We weren't gonna go in and give them new insulation until they fix the roof. Well, they can't fix the roof. So we have some funding set aside for these kind of situations. It's case by case basis. We're gonna do a couple here in Canyon, a few in Pueblo, a couple in Rocky, and one or two in Cripple Creek. Hopefully by the end of the year, and the county's weatherization program, they're gonna help us find customers, and it's not hard to find a customer that can benefit from something like this. We're even looking at, maybe they need windows, maybe there's condensation in their home from the windows that they have, it's leading to mold or whatever. So it's kind of thinking outside the box and helping that customer a little bit more than we can.
Arkansas Council of Governments used to do a lot of that stuff. You work with them as well?
No,
Yeah,
the only, do they?
Well, I looked on their website, and couldn't locate it, but
Oh,
I don't know.
They
No, I
must
mean,
do.
it should be integrated. It
Yeah.
shouldn't be, you know,
Yep.
6 different people
Yeah.
doing 6 different things.
Exactly.
And we did meet with them last week. Actually, I was here,
Oh, did you?
here
Oh,
in the
good.
building. And so, yeah,
All right.
we've got that relationship established, at least the point where we'll get them in touch with Patty.
Because they've
Um,
just kind of gone away a little bit the last few years, seems to me. But
Yeah.
Maybe it's me that went away. I don't know.
So we're really excited about this opportunity to just go a little bit above and beyond. and help some customers. Okay, so I wanted to just give you a kind of a snapshot of October's Energy Efficiency Awareness Month. And speaking of the council governments, we partnered with them last year here in town and gave out the energy efficiency kits through the drive-through distribution. In the past, we used to do, we would walk around a community, we would pick certain neighborhoods, hand out energy efficiency kits door to door. You know, COVID came, kind of changed all that. But we still, you know, at even probably you know, more of a need for people to have these kind of kits to help them do some things at home, help them save money, and button up the house. But so we started to partner with food distributions and drive-throughs and just kind of hand them off. The kits come with a little booklet. They have light bulbs, weather stripping, caulking, a caulk gun, some night lights, LEDs. Have you seen them? They're really nice.
Oh, I should have one.
Well, we're coming back next week, next month, October. And so last October, we did an event in Pueblo. We had a mobile food truck there. We had vaccines there. These were all free for, you know, our customers. Rocky Ford, we had the mayor out. She helped distribute kits. We had Tri-County Services, just giving out information to our customers on what services they provide. And the Small Town Project, they came up with beans and tomatoes and rice all in a bag meal, handed those out, which was pretty cool. And then Canyon, as I mentioned, Cripple Creek, we work with the Aspen Mine Center and hand them out. That works out really well there. And then, as I mentioned, our Energy Outreach Colorado, they distributed just shy of 90,000 light bulbs and over, you know, close to 3,700 energy efficiency kits. So we're really getting them out in the community. I kind of wonder, you know, are we going to reach saturation with the energy kits too at some point? So we switch them up every year, put different items in them, hopefully to avoid that. But this year we will be here again in Canyon. I believe it's, don't quote me on this.
October 10th.
10th, thank you.
I just looked it up on my calendar.
Thank
So yeah,
you.
October 10th will be here
You're way ahead of me. Thank
handing
you.
out those kits. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're excited about that. So we can save you a kit so that you all have one. We can,
No, I'm just kidding.
no, I,
My
that's-
husband loses the caulking gun, so I want to know.
put your name on there.
Yeah. But hide it.
I know that last year, as part of that, we did a unpack the box with Mayor Smith on her social media, on her Facebook page. That was kind of fun. But it was a way of trying to demonstrate the value of inside of those kits before that event occurred. So I was grateful that she hosted that conversation with me.
And winding down here, our school-based education program. And this is an amazing program. There's a STEM approved curriculum guide. Each of the kids get a fantastic workbook. They get an energy efficiency kit to take home. The classroom, when the kids send back a survey that they completed, you know, their lesson, the installation, the class gets a certificate for free pizza for the class. But it's all about what we've been talking about, you know, all morning, and that is educating, you know, our customers, but in this case, our students, our kids. They're gonna make their parents do it. I have heard that, because they get an energy kit, they get to take it home, and, you know, they have to write up what they did and take some measurements, things like that. So it really does give them an awareness of energy, and it's not just energy efficiency, but it's what's renewable, you know, it gives them a really great view of the environment as it relates to energy. So,
I should have brought my kid with me.
you know,
I have,
should-
I have this kid sitting in my office just because it comes up every once in a while. So it says, hey, what do you, and so I have one just so I can show what's in the kit.
It's for typically fifth graders and I believe 10th graders, depending on the school, but middle and high school. All of our schools do participate. However, with COVID, when that happened, put a really big, it impacted the program significantly with participation. We are, you know, getting back to normal, but it's taking some time to get that back into the school. So the great thing is when a teacher signs up for this, I mean, it's turnkey. They have a complete lesson plan already done for them. If I was a teacher, I'd be like, oh my God, this is fantastic. I don't have to do anything.
So what's it charge, or what's it cost to charge a cell phone?
It's a cost to charge a cell.
Yeah, have you guys ever figured out what it costs to charge a cell phone? Because pretty soon. That's all a house is gonna need. These kids, they're on it 24 hours a day, you know?
We should
Little
Google that. We should
facetious,
Google that
but,
real quick.
sorry.
I'm sure it's right there.
Up to a bicycle,
There you go.
like they do, like
Yeah.
in India, you know, they have to charge the bicycle.
And then the last item I have for today, to round us out here is we have a local library program, where a customer, or any resident of the town, you can pass that around. We have a free kilowatt meter that our residents can check out, and we developed a really great little resource book here on how to use it and how to compare the readings. So what we're trying to show them is their usage of their existing refrigerator, and there's a chart in the book, and maybe, oh, maybe I should look at a new refrigerator. They look at that new refrigerator, and then it's like, oh, I could recycle my refrigerator and get $50 back from Black Hills, because the big box is gonna charge me to take my refrigerator. But as I mentioned, this is in all the libraries in our service area, free to check out. Comes in this nice backwards briefcase. So if you want something to do, take advantage of it, to check it out. Take it home and see what your appliances are doing.
Do you know, do we have multiple at our library, or is there two? That's what I thought.
And Doug, in the world that we don't ever have to wonder about anything, if you fully drained and recharge your cell phone every day over the course of 1 year, you'd have to feed it about 2,000 watt hours or 2 kilowatt hours. So at 2 kilowatt hours, what's that about, 25 cents, 30 cents? Over the course of a year.
Pretty cheap, huh?
It's really
Pretty
cheap.
cheap. Maybe we need to indoctrinate our kids. Cut down on energy costs.
That seems low. I think
That
I'm
does
gonna
seem
check,
really
I'm gonna
low.
check out, one of these.
That's
And,
just if you drained it and fully recharged it every day. I think I did it multiple times a day. so-
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna go to the library and get one of these and try it and see.
And another aspect of the meter is that people assume that if something is turned off, that it's not draining power, but they still are. You know, that phantom power. So there's a little discussion in the workbook on that too. So.
Blue light special. You go through your house and look at all the blue lights.
Yeah.
My family room is lit up at night. Yeah, well, then the neighbor's got a big yard.
You know
light.
what? I actually haven't seen them. I don't think they're really cool.
I can't move. Yeah, I'm too afraid.
Hey, just put the plug in and you can just.
You know how much one of those costs?
Oh, I believe they were, well, it's been a while since we ordered them. I say between 25 and 40 bucks.
Yeah, they're not expensive.
Yeah,
You can,
I
you
don't want
can,
one of those, honestly.
Yeah, I know,
I'd love to
kilowatt.
check it out.
yeah, I mean, you
Yeah,
can
right.
find them, online.
We bought these on Amazon.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
So the last item I just wanted to touch base on was our beneficial electrification plan, as we talked about when we first started this morning, and I don't have a slide for it, but So we were required by state law to submit a beneficial electrification plan. We submitted it to PUC. I believe it was the end of July. It'll take several months for that to work its way through the process. But some of the items, and what we're looking to do is replace measures, equipment that currently use fossil fuels and go electric. Okay, so we have it's a small plan, the budget is fairly small, but it's a start and it was what was required. Excel has done theirs too. So we're looking at lawn equipment, electric lawn mowers, leaf blowers, trimmers, anything in the lawn care kind of space. They're all available now, electric. And they're all, you could get a whole system through most companies like Works and.
Battery operated mower for several years. It works great. Now, I don't have a huge yard, but it's quieter, it's lighter.
You can take it anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and easier.
it doesn't scare me, because trying to start
Oh,
that one,
forget that.
yeah, I have strange fears, but.
That's not a strange fear.
No,
So that's part of the beneficial electrification. I would say probably early next year, we should have that through the process and approved. At this point, we don't know exactly what will become approved. We have e-bikes in it. So that would be amazing. We could get rebates on e-bikes. I think that would be really successful. So I just wanted to bring that up. And that is all that I have for today. So any comments, questions?
Thank you very much.
General
Thank you
question.
so much.
On the whole subject of the incentives. Someone mentioned earlier that the incentives, and I assume, in effect, come through the customer bill. In other words, we're paying for that as customers.
There's a line item in your bill
Yeah.
that everyone pays for demand side management.
Oh.
It says
Oh,
DSM on your bill.
Right.
I believe it's 0.2%.
So I guess the question is, we have a lot of great information here on what that's producing, what that is leading to in terms of incentives for specific programs, but does Black Hills try to measure in other ways if goals are accomplished with that program? I don't even know what the other ways are. Reduction in use of electricity, even though that might be counterproductive from a company point of view. I just.
It is, I'm
wonder-
the black sheep, did you know that?
But
I
I
give
just
it
wonder
away.
if there's, I'm sure there's accounting for the program in terms of the dollars that come in, the dollars that go out, what they go out for, and then how do you evaluate what you get for those dollars, I guess?
So everything has a savings goal. We do not run a program if it doesn't have a savings goal. It also goes through a cost effectiveness test. So those two things kind of keep us in check and show progress. So at the end of the year, we have a savings goal, which is that, KWH, and then we also have to meet budget. We can't exceed our budget. So we work closely, as I mentioned throughout, this morning, vendors, implementers, we have contracts. They're required to do X for savings, X for budget, so that they help us reach that goal. So everything that we went through has a number to it, associated to it. And that's what this book is. This book is the plan, basically. And I can send you the link for the plan if you guys want to get a copy of it. But what it does is it goes through each program. So here's the home energy evaluation. It's going to tell you how many participants our goal is for the year. And so for those home audits, in 2022, 275 households were participate.
And these are all regulated activities, especially, well, obviously, because you have to have this one plan approved.
Mandated activities might be a better.
Pardon me?
Mandated
Mandated,
activities
yeah.
might be a better way to describe it.
Well, PC says you have to do this.
Well,
Or
the
the-
legislature said,
We have to go through
Yep.
PUC.
Yep.
I'm not going from that side, I'm going from the PUC side of it.
Yeah, so
They
the,
say it has to be approved.
yeah, so John's correct. The law says,
Well, right.
as an IOU, we have to have an energy efficiency plan. That plan has to be cost effective. There are certain measures that are required, but not all of them are. And so what we do then is we go through and we put together a plan of what we think is the best approach to achieve the most savings with the least amount of
And
money.
is that tailored just for our service territory, is it, or is it your,
It's for Black,
For
it's,
Black.
it's for, no, it's for Colorado. It's for
Okay.
Black Hills, Colorado. So just
Just
our
Black.
Colorado territory.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for elected.
all right,
And then, and so then that plan, as we go through, we formulate it with our cost measures, cost savings, energy savings. And then we submit that plan to the PUC. It goes through the process of everything else that we do with PUC with certain interveners. And so then once that plan is approved, then that is the plan that we stick with. We can make minor adjustments here and there, but if we want to change up programs past a certain point, then we've got to go back to the PUC and ask for approval. to
And we've
adjust
done
the
that.
plan. And we have.
oh, yes.
Sometimes, sometimes there are programs that we think, this is gonna be a really great program and people are gonna love it. And we get halfway through the year and nobody's used it. And we spent a bunch of money on advertising or trying to get people to use it, and we realize it's not gonna happen for us. We need to put that money somewhere else where it's gonna be more efficient. A better efficient use of that money to get the savings that we need to get out of the plan.
So that's what I'm still trying to zero in on in my mind. I understand that a lot of it is kind of projected savings, we're gonna make sure you get an appliance that's gonna
Correct.
have project. But do you measure at the other end, whether it's on individual bills? Or I'm just trying to figure out how you evaluate after the plan is approved, in place, working.
There really is no,
An
It'd be-
actual number.
yeah, it'd be very, very labor intensive to go through and look at an actual number. So again, going back to kind of standard tables that say, if you put in a furnace that's 95% efficient, this is the energy use it's gonna have versus this one. That is really what's happened. So we know what we've implemented. We know what things are out there, how many bulbs we put in, how many furnaces we've replaced, how many water heaters, how many, those types of things. So then we take those numbers. And actually, we have a third party that does it for us, that does all the evaluation of what did we save versus what would have, yeah. And so we do that on a monthly basis.
Just seems like maybe
Yeah, that,
maybe this is pie in the sky, but the payer that funds these programs might want to know more, eventually. Are they successful or not in actually achieving the goals?
Yeah.
We'll do an annual report. There's an annual report. That doesn't, I mean, I don't know who sees that, right?
Right.
Like the actual
Yeah.
customer doesn't see that, but maybe you need a billing server or something. I
Yeah.
don't know.
So the program has a cost,
Mhm.
and hopefully the savings get close to that cost. It's never gonna. You'll never
But we
get-
don't know, right?
Well, no, well, hang on where I'm going, because I believe it is. Okay, so the program has a cost, which is mandated by the legislature through the PUC. Okay, and hopefully the savings come close to that cost, and the savings are either mandated efficiencies, like you have to use the 95% efficient one rather than 85%, whatever, I mean, there's mandated parts of it. Does the PUC track a compliance metric for you guys about how close you come to the goals?
Oh, yes.
Mhm.
Yes, we file that report annually.
Yeah.
And the PUC reviews that report and sometimes comments on that report on if we've done well or not well. So, no, it definitely is tracked. It's definitely something that we have to keep track of, that we provide back to the PUC as to how we are doing
And so
compared to our plan.
EM&T
Is
also.
what you
Yeah.
report back include the overall cost of the program?
It does. Yeah.
So it can be known, not maybe on a per customer basis, but it is known.
But
And
always
this
in
is-
terms of projection, yeah, I understand
Yeah.
that.
And the whole, yeah, in the energy efficiency, it's the energy measurement, EM&D, energy measurement and verification, thank you. That whole process is also part of our approved plan by the PUC. We say, here's how we're going to evaluate it, here's how we're gonna measure it, and here's how we're gonna verify it. So that is all also approved by the
Third party.
PUC. And it's
Yeah.
all third party. And it really across the country is pretty standardized. On how that works, and certainly across the state. So our EM&V is the same EM&V that Excel is using and is required. So again, if a 95% efficient water heater is said to save X amount of kilowatt hours, that's what gets measured and logged as the verification, and then verified. Did it get installed? Yes. Okay, then that savings exists. Yeah. There is certainly an element of it's theoretical. And with energy, and this is part of, what we deal with in our programs too, is you have what they call spillover and free ridership. Free ridership is someone from Denver drives down to Canyon City, goes and buys a light bulb at Home Depot here in Canyon City. Now they're not paying for that. So free ridership. Spillover is, well, I'm gonna go out, I was gonna change my light bulbs anyway. And so I go buy these light bulbs and now I get credit for the light bulbs, even though I was gonna go buy them anyway. So those things always play with your actual savings and with your actual costs. But again, there's sort of standards in place for what are those in certain regions of the country. So energy efficiency has been around, like Patty said, for a long time. And so these things have been refined for a very long time. In fact, Kelly probably knows more about this than I do.
Yeah.
This is one of the areas that she worked in her career. So.
Lower door test for the air conditioning system and duct systems for overall leakage, if you will. So very interesting world. Gosh, that was back in the 90s, even mid-90s. So yeah, it's a neat part of our industry. I actually really thoroughly enjoy it.
Well, it's interesting that you can almost quantify these things
Mhm.
too, rather than, okay, if we have X amount of solar panels, it might do this. This is today's stuff.
Correct.
Stuff in the present time. So that's helpful to know what you guys are doing on that. front.
And again, it's because it's been around for so long.
Right,
That we know there's so much data
Trends.
and trends on what these measures do. That it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
But there are still, like I said, there's a few of those things that,
Well, electricity is, I mean, it's just what it is. It hasn't changed since
yeah,
Ben Franklin flew that high. It is what it is.
this
So,
is true.
But our goal really, today is to let you guys be aware of all the programs that we have and to ask for help.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to be today, but as you're thinking out and about, these might be good programs about those to talk to. Greatly appreciate that.
So if you want to save a bunch of energy. What I think is the extremely low hanging fruit is for houses that have air conditioners that have ducts. You measure the temperature of your crawl space versus outside temperature, which gives you an idea of how efficient
yeah,
the distribution system, and meaning you've got leaks in your ducts. And that would seem to me that there's kind of some low hanging fruit.
Yeah, there's actually safety factors along with that too. Because if you got leaks in your return, you're sucking in whatever that air is or isn't. So yeah, there's a lot to be said about that.
Any other questions?
Thank you guys for.
Thank you very much.
Really
Yeah.
appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thank you all again for the opportunity to. And this is an area where I've said it continually surprises me. How many of our customers are not aware that we have these programs.
Drives us crazy.
And so, we even despite the emails we send, customer bill notices, all those things. So yeah, as much as we can to get out and share the message of energy efficiency, Always willing. So if there are groups or people that you know that have questions, have them reach out to Patty and.
We're also trying to make it so easy for people to participate. So like the appliance recycling and the home energy audit, you just call a phone number or go online and set up your appointment. No papers anymore, no forms, trying to get rid of all those.
Did that.
No faxing, no faxing.
Yeah. Oh, well,
I do think another question that, does Black Hills connect at all with the programs that Atlas Energy does, the natural gas stuff? Because I know they do some energy efficiency stuff. I don't know, is it duplicating, is it overlapping, or is it coordinated, or is there a connection?
I would just tell you, and like, I'm sorry not to jump in, but I would just tell you, we actually had that conversation just last week about, the issues we're facing today. It's an energy issue generally. It's not just electricity. It's coming, heating season's coming. I really do believe that if there's any way we can get Energy Outreach Colorado and Atlas and Black Hills Energy together to do some sort of concentrated effort in this area, it would be very beneficial for your residents. I would love to do something like that.
because sometimes it comes down to paying for your energy bills and paying your rent. And that's just counterproductive. You know, if you don't have a house to eat, can't eat, So it's gotta be a coordinated effort. And
Anyway, I
thank
didn't
God
mean
I'm
to jump
not
in with that.
there,
It
like
just, it's a,
you. We are very fortunate people that we don't really worry about that.
There was
What's
a
that?
team,
Money.
Well, you know. I've tried to talk to the other half of my marriage.
You don't have to
You run,
Sorry.
you don't think about that stuff. You run the dryer, you run the washer, and the dishwasher, all at the same time.
Yeah, that'd be me.
Huh?
I
If it's here, do it. So that's why I don't argue anymore. That's one reason. And when I look at my energy bill, I just say, okay. When I can't pay it anymore, somebody else will understand. And we may go back to like, remember what it used to be like? You close your house up in the morning, pull the
Yeah,
blinds
yeah,
and everything.
yeah,
I still
And
do.
yeah,
And-
yeah.
you didn't mind sweating a little bit, but that doesn't happen today.
We're spoiled.
We
That's
are
what it is. We are
ultra
so
spoiled.
Yes.
Ultra.
Tell her, no diamond for you this Christmas, Miss Kathy.
That's okay. She knows she's not getting one anyway.
Oh, I-
No, it's interesting, but it's like, I don't know if Emily heard me. Or anybody else did. I told a few people. The energy at the clubhouse, the natural gas bill was $4 more than the electricity. So to just go after one utility is, to me, a little crazy.
My gas bills are about, well, less than half of my electric bill, so I'm sure it differs all around.
Yeah,
Well, and this is comparing apples to apples, same building,
Oh, I am.
same use, everything.
Yeah,
Time of the year is gonna.
Well, that's-
yeah.
Well, that's true.
My point is what you're really gonna see is it's heating season coming up. And I can guarantee you, your heating bill, same usage, it's gonna be 30 to 40%
Oh, yeah.
higher than it was last year.
Yeah.
That's what we have to look forward to.
Yeah.
That's really the big deal.
well, people come into my house and go, oh my God, it's cold in here at 65, and we just put on another sweater, and, it's like. I can't stand it at 72. I was like,
It's gonna be interesting with us because we just put in that ductless
oh,
unit.
yeah.
And to see the difference in our natural gas bill with heating with the ductless unit versus,
That'll be interesting.
I'm still keeping my hot water heater.
Oh, yeah,
I'm not getting rid of any of the old stuff except the swamper.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have we have anything else for Black Hills? We do appreciate you guys being here.
Very much.
Thank you very much.
And before I adjourn, one other thing to talk about at NREL is pump storage. They've just done a recent, big, paper on pump storage. Oh, that's no problem. Anything else for the committee then?
Next Monday then.
No,
is the council?
Council.
Executive?
Yep.
Yeah.
The email's already gone out.
Yeah,
Yes, I thought.
and the 2 weeks from now, I won't be here, be traveling, and so Emily, you want to? Okay. All right.
Can I ask a question of maybe John?
Sure.
This homeowner's exterior service thing, we just got a
Yes.
flyer about so much per month.
That-
What about it? It's one of
Yeah.
those things I look at.
It's a program that we're working in conjunction with someone else. It's actually just kind of an add-on service, if you will. So, you know, you're responsible for certain things outside of your
Sure.
home, right? We go to a certain point and you have like a mast or whatever, you have different components you're responsible for. And what happens occasionally is when those get damaged, the homeowner is surprised. And they're surprised about the bill. It's no different than your water connection. If you have to connect, you know, if you have to go all the way to the main or whatever, that those are expensive projects.
Mhm.
And so these programs are just kind of I would almost call them like an insurance, well, they are an insurance, so that you know those things can get repaired at a reasonable cost if it happens to you. That's what it is. It doesn't explain it very well. I've seen the
That's okay.
literature. I've had a lot of questions about it, but that's really what it is. And it's a third party. It's not something we're doing. It's just we're providing information through a third party.
They're using your mailing list.
I think we're actually doing the mailing.
Oh,
for them.
yeah, you are.
Yeah.
It's got your.
Yeah, and I think it's actually my boss, was Ashton, this is the person who signed that little slip of paper in the front, said, you know, this is why we're.
Yeah.
This is why we're doing this.
Yeah, I mean, you sign up through Black Hills.
Right, right.
And we're responsible for it, but it's a third party that actually implements it for us. So an example, if there's something wrong with your electric line going into the house, you know, we own up to the meter, and we're responsible up to the meter, but anything past that, it covers that. I mean, a better example is probably on your natural gas, or like John said, the water side.
Yeah.
You know, same thing. If there's a line going through your yard and your meter is not located at your house, then you're responsible for that
Sure.
yard line. And if you cut it, or someone else cuts it, or something else happens.
Yeah.
To have an electrician or you know, someone come in and replace that gas line can be expensive.
Yeah, well,
And-
just like city water meter, they're always out on the
Mhm.
edge.
Yep.
Mhm.
So the city's responsible to there, then
Yep.
we're responsible for them.
Meter to the
Here
house.
in-
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but I think people think, oh gosh, this is my bill or whatever, I need to do this, you know, and like the water survey thing that has been in the mail lately about, oh, you
Water
need to
quality.
have your water tested, and it's like, don't you read the report that the city puts out, you know? And so it's kind of almost a scam, if you will. I'm not saying it's a scam, it's a program that's maybe useful to some people, but that they don't understand it, they're gonna say, oh, I gotta do this, you know, and they don't have to do it.
Yeah, and you don't have to do it.
Yeah.
It is an insurance.
Sure.
And so, and I don't remember what the cost is, but certain amount
About
of money.
several months.
So technically though, Nick, I think that the power company, not just like this, but any power company, provides service up to the connection that takes then the wires down through the mast to the meter.
Mhm.
The power company owns the meter, but really the mast and the wires coming out of that are the homeowner's responsibility.
Yeah.
I understand your wire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where is that dividing? So there's actually a connection between the wires. So if that connection deteriorates, who takes care of that?
You know, that's a good question. If it's the actual connection itself, if it's at the exact point where ownership,
Yeah, that's it.
the demarcate, yeah,
Yeah.
if it's the demarcation, you know, I don't know. That's a good question.
so if there's a like a clevis or, you know,
Yeah.
cable clamp or something that clamps the two wires together, you know, who owns the cable?
Get
Yeah,
a lawyer.
That's a good question.
The lawyer.
It's actually, in my particular case, it's not academic because I've been up on my roof.
Oh, my.
And the connections have deteriorated with their wires.
Yeah,
No,
And so, not on, so it's not my wires, it's not my wires that's deteriorated, you know?
Well, I know I've got one that's, and I don't know whose it is, because I mean, it's not cable, because cable's down below, but it could be, I don't know. There's a hanging a hanging off of something there. And it's over my neighbor's yard, but hey, if it goes haywire, I'm not gonna have any power either. And well, that was another question I was gonna ask you guys. Have you done a tree trimming program this year? Where?
Not in my
Not in my
backyard.
backyard.
That
I'm
would
not
be,
sure where he's at,
I'm
but I
not
know he
sure.
was working around Pueblo.
Oh, okay.
They did some
No,
work, but
because I haven't seen them around Canyon
Yeah.
here.
Find out where,
Yeah.
sure, where they are.
Yeah, and again, it's the neighbor's tree.
I
but
know I've
it's
sent
my
some to
lot.
John
What?
over the last month or two. I've sent a few to John, so I know they've been out there.
Oh, okay. Well,
Is it every year that that's done?
Yeah. Yeah, we have a vegetation management program that runs year round.
Yeah, but they don't come to my backyard.
and it
Well,
may,
it's
it
not
may
every
not be,
backyard
it
every
may,
year.
yeah, it may not be a specific point every
Yeah,
year,
right,
but it is a,
That-
yeah,
that's-
it's.
Yeah, I mean, it's, and it prioritized according to inspection, as I understand it. So, I mean, there's a whole
Yeah.
process.
And it's the uninsulated lines that you're worried about, not the insulated.
That actually I can't speak to. I don't know the
Yeah.
answer.
I think it's pretty much all of them.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, because
They all,
anytime.
they're all a risk.
Yeah.
From
Anything that
vegetation,
might cause a downline is what they should be looking at.
yeah. And it's no different than, I don't know if you guys have a sidewalk program or any of those programs, you may not do an inspection. On every sidewalk, every single year, it's
Right.
you know, like a 3-year rotating or 5-year rotating or whatever, and so. Same thing here, we're not gonna hit every single line
yeah,
every single year.
no, but at the point where those limbs damage that line, then somebody's gonna get called.
Yeah.
Well, and it's funny because there's also the, you know, Brian had this conversation too. There was a limb hanging on one, but what was it? It was probably the cable or a
Well,
telephone
this
line.
is
It wasn't,
definitely
it wasn't,
like-
it wasn't.
Yeah.
the
Oh, yeah, I know.
electrical line.
I know.
So there's always. It all looks like electrical to.
No,
It's hard to always
I
know.
know.
Yeah, and I can tell
It's
you,
like, well,
I
I
know.
know,
Yeah, I
this
do
goes
too.
here and it's good there.
things grow much slower here in Colorado than they did in Iowa, so
Oh.
the veg management programs in Iowa are much different than here.
Trees grow really fast.
Well, there you go. You just said they're your elm tree. Get a chainsaw.
Put it in a year and a half ago, and they're all.
Try to get
They
a
do.
tree trimmer too.
Oh, yeah.
I'm-
Hey, go buy a battery powered one. You don't have to pull.
Yeah, please,
And I'm afraid to climb in the ladder.
please be careful, yeah, please be careful.